Wow, congratulations everybody. We finally did it. We have the second stimulus package officially signed into law by President Trump as of just a few minutes ago. We have that second stimulus package complete with $600 stimulus checks, $300 additional weekly unemployment insurance, additional money for airlines, PPP loans, EIDL loans, eviction moratoriums, additional money for rent, and a lot of other things in that stimulus package now is officially signed into law. There was a big risk. We've been talking about it. President Trump may have not signed that bill if it weren't for the urging of those on his own party and, of course, those on the other side of the aisle as well. But officially, this bill is signed and into law. It is not going to be vetoed. It is now officially law, and that means you will be receiving that $600 stimulus check per individual in your family, subject to the conditions that we're going to talk about a little bit later. And if you're on unemployment insurance, you can continue to expect that to be carried forward, but there's going to be a few delays probably depending on where your state is. Again, we're going to be talking about that later in this video. Now, for everyone out there, my name is Kevin Conway. I make stimulus news update videos every single day this week, and I've been doing stimulus news update videos very often. So check out those videos, check out my other videos on personal finance, and for those who aren't subscribed, you've got to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be breaking it down every single piece of this legislation, tell you how to qualify for unemployment insurance, when to expect your stimulus check, how to get PPP loans, everything you want to know. So be sure to subscribe to this channel, and please give a quick like to this video if you wouldn't mind. It would really help me out. As soon as I read this, I said, look, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I came right in here and I wanted to push this video out because I knew how significant it would be to so many of you out there. So if you can give me a quick like and share this video with anybody, I'd really appreciate it. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into actually what this bill is now that it is law. So like I talked about before, this stimulus check is going to be reissued and sent out again based upon the same exact criteria as was in the CARES Act earlier in March, with a few additional qualifiers as well. So if you are somebody who is married to somebody who doesn't have a social security number, you actually will be receiving a stimulus check. That was one of the additional things. But for everybody else, you can consider all the criteria to be exactly the same as last time. Now, what is that criteria? Well, it's based upon your income on your 2019 tax return or the income that was reported to the IRS in your 2019 tax year. So you do actually have to file your taxes in order to get qualified for this stimulus check. And for all those people out there on disability, social security insurance, and everything else, you too will qualify for this stimulus check if you received one last time, which chances are you did, and you will be receiving it in the same method as last time as well. Now, what are the income cutoffs? Same thing as last time. $75,000 and below if you're an individual, $150,000 and below if you're married filing jointly, and your stimulus check will be reduced by $5 for every $1,000 of income above that threshold until it's completely phased out. Now, with all that being said, this stimulus check will likely go out much faster than the last stimulus check. So if you were waiting for months and months and months, fortunately, this time the IRS has your information if you received one last time, and they will be able to roll this out much quicker. We know this because Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, said as much a few months ago when they were talking about getting another stimulus check actually passed back then as opposed to now. And so we know that this stimulus check will be passed very quickly. In fact, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin went ahead and said last week that he could expect, if the bill was passed last week, to have the stimulus checks out in everyone's hands this week, which means that now that this bill is law, you likely will be expecting to receive that stimulus check as soon as next week, and that'll be direct deposit for most people. Now let's talk really quickly about the unemployment insurance. Now, it is not $600 per week in additional federal aid. It is only $300 per week in additional federal aid, and this will last for 11 weeks. But the crucial thing is, for all those people who were about to lose or who technically did lose their unemployment insurance as of last night when this bill expired, all those people will now be re-eligible again, subject to certain conditions. Now, here are the things that you need to know. If you're an independent contractor, a gig worker, someone who's self-employed, and normally before this whole pandemic weren't able to qualify for unemployment insurance, you actually got unemployment insurance through the CARES Act, but that provision expired last night. Fortunately, now this law was signed and this bill was passed into law, which means that those people who were qualified under that framework will be qualified under this framework as well. Of course, subject to how many weeks that you're eligible. Now, the weeks of eligibility has also been expanded. So for all those people who were on unemployment insurance and then this bill expired and then you weren't on it anymore, well, chances are you likely will get your unemployment insurance again if you still meet your state criteria, because the unemployment insurance has been extended to a total of 50 weeks, which means that's about 11 weeks more than what most people got under the CARES Act. Because remember, normally states have a 26-week limit on your unemployment insurance, and the CARES Act extended it for 13 more weeks, bringing it to 39 weeks. And then this bill now will extend it 11 more weeks to a total of 50 weeks from the time that you originally lost your job and got unemployment insurance for that date going forward. This bill also provides additional $100 per week in subsidy for workers who have both wage and self-employment income, but whose basic unemployment benefits didn't take into account their self-employment income. Okay, so what else is in this 6,000-page, $900 billion stimulus bill? Well, there's a whole lot that you need to cover and a lot of details. I'm gonna be making those key videos, breaking it down video by video, so you've got to subscribe to this channel if you want to get the latest, most straightforward, honest, unbiased news. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and give a like to this video if you haven't already. With that being said, what are the other key things here in this bill that you need to know? Well, the federal eviction moratorium is going to be relevant if you're a renter out there. The federal eviction moratorium made it a prohibition to actually evict tenants from their housing if it was covered under federal law, and this had a lot to do with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and depending on what loan your landlord had, and a lot of other factors as well. But the key thing is, for most people, they're prevented from being evicted for a period of time that was scheduled to expire just a couple days from now. That is until this stimulus bill was passed into law, and this stimulus bill will push it until January 31st. There's an additional $25 billion of renter assistance in here, actually, to help renters who are behind on their rent actually get subsidies so they could pay back some of that rent. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more in detail in the coming days as I read in detail the actual bill and give you what you need to know. For those who don't know, I'm an attorney by trade, so this is actually, kind of interesting to me, the 6,000 pages. It's actually not too bad. So I'm going to give you exactly what you need to know. What also is interesting in this bill is that President Trump said that this is going to not be the last of it. In fact, he went ahead and said that he's going to keep fighting for Americans and trying to get them more money, which is interesting because President Trump has said that. The Democrats in the House actually went ahead and tried to pass a $2,000 stimulus bill, and that failed on Thursday, but they're going to try to re-up on it tomorrow and get the Republicans to come around to it. And we have President-elect Biden actually coming in and saying, we are going to get another stimulus bill when I'm in office. So for all of those people out there who are wondering, is this the last of it? Is this all we're getting? $600? This seems pretty measly. Well, I can understand how you feel about that, especially because it's been 9 months since they've actually passed this bill. But rest assured that we will have clarity once the new administration is in office. All the other electors are in office as well, and we have those Senate races in Georgia cleared up. We're going to know exactly how the map is laid out, and as a result, we're going to have another stimulus bill sometime in the future. For right now, this is what we have, that $900 billion stimulus bill. So right now in Congress, they're trying to make a standalone bill to pass that $2,000 stimulus check. That likely won't go anywhere significantly until the beginning of next year. That's my personal take. I just think that this is a big enough bill as it is, and a lot of people in Congress are going to be hesitant to spending even more money, even if it makes them feel like they're doing something good. That's just my take. I could be wrong. Again, things could happen very quickly, as they have many times before. Now, what's interesting is in this bill, President Trump has said that he's going to use an obscure provision of federal law to withhold for 45 days. That's all he can do. 45 days, he's going to withhold the foreign aid to go out to different countries. We talked about this before, the $55 billion in this bill that was allocated from everything from Dalai Lama research to gender programs in Pakistan and many other things that, while may be good on their own, maybe not, aren't relevant to the unemployment insurance and stimulus checks that so many Americans are relying upon. That $50 billion, President Trump is going to use his powers to actually hold that back for 45 days. Now, after 45 days, he doesn't have the power anymore to hold back those funds, and they'll be released unless they make an amendment to this bill, which I think is what he's aiming to get. But I found that kind of interesting, and that's something to keep our eyes on. So those are the key details right now with the passage of the stimulus bill. Congratulations, that $600 stimulus check is coming per individual in your household. So my wife, myself, and our newborn son will be receiving a collective stimulus check in our bank accounts of $1,800. So that's how it works based upon our income from last year. Now, that is a great thing for people like us. It's a great thing for people out there. And we have the unemployment insurance passing as well. So that will be a very good thing for so many people out there. Comment below with what you think about this bill. Do you think that it is enough? Do you think that there should be more? And if so, let me know how you think the next stimulus bill should go. What else should be included in that stimulus bill? Now, for all of those people out there, please give a like to this video. It really helped me out a lot. I went away and I just came right in here. That's why I'm wearing what I'm wearing right now. I was just out, just hanging out, and I saw this bill pass and I had to make a video on it because it was so important. So for all of those who've been following along, thank you so much for watching my videos. And I will see you next time with more detail on the stimulus bill, stimulus news, and other personal finance matters. I'll see you next time. Thanks.